Let's create a new branch for today. Okay, branch created. So today we'll practice about the navigation, few more things in the navigation. So nav practice, I'll go to nav practice and I'll check what modules are installed in this one. So right now it has only the default packages. So let's try to install all the navigations. So if you have already created nav practice, you can also install navigation items right now. I'll only install the stack one for this one because the main thing which we are looking is stack. So let me see what packages to install. Okay, let's go to navigation and find. Let's go to navigation one. So the first package which we'll install is this one. I'll go walk through it and put it in the Telegram chat also, whatever I'll install. This is the first package I'll install. Okay. It's done. Okay, next one I will install is this one. Okay, let's go and install this one. So I'm inside the nav practice. We'll be doing some more configuration changes for the navigation, and I will done with this package. Let's see what more I can do. In the app.js, I will add this line. So let me go in the app.js. No, not this one. App.js. And add these two lines. And this is the main container for the navigation. Okay, so my navigation code will come here. Okay, now next package which I will install is stack one. So let's install this package also. Okay, this is done. Let's see. I need to add this one also. So let's add this one. And in the app.js, I have to import this gesture handler. So let's go to app and put the gesture handler. We don't need status bar. Let's remove it. We don't need this style sheet for now. Okay, I'll remove it in 1 minute. Okay, let me first finish this one. Okay, and also I have to install this one and use this import part in the app.js. So let's install this one also. Okay, that's all we'll be installing. We'll not install bottom tab, drawer or top tab now. And Let's take the stack navigator code. This is the navigator code. I'll take this one and put it inside between this one. So we need these components. Let's only create two components. One is home and second is profile or settings. Let's only create two components. One is home and one is the settings. So I'll create two files, home.js and settings.js. I'll put some dummy code. And in the app.js, I'll import both the components. Import home and import settings. Okay, so now if I run this app, home will be default visible, and then settings, we can go to the settings component using the button. Okay, so let's do that one. Okay, let's run this one and see how it goes. We can also, or since this is a practice, we can also create the home component directly in the app for now, for the practice. And settings also, we can create that component directly in app.js for, where this is just a practice. So I don't need to create this new files. I can create it here also. Let's delete it from the home. And settings also. Since this is a practice, I will only add it here. It's a quicker way. I can put this container in the home. I'll give the style of the container, styles.container. I can do same thing here. Okay, so let's see how it looks. I'll say yarn expo start. Okay, so let's start in my mobile. Okay, it's saying stack does not exist. So we added this stack here, but we didn't create it. So let's go to document and we need to create this stack also. And I have to add this part also. Okay, so I can see the home here as a default first screen, and I'll create one button to go to the settings screen. So let's create a button now. Let's go and add a button. So in the home, I will add a button. Let's add the button here in the React Native also. And I don't need this one. And on press, I will call a function where I will say to redirect to the settings page. So here I'll say settings. So when I click this button, it should go to settings component, and I'll create similar button here, which will go to home component. So here we will, once we use the stack here, we can have the navigation part as a props, and I can use navigation here, navigation dot navigate, and where I want to go, settings page. So navigation dot navigate will take us to settings page, and I will create another button here in the on the settings page, which will take me to the home. I can also click the back button and go to the home, or I can navigate to the home like this. Okay, so here you see the home. When I go to click settings, you see I'm in the settings page, and here I can go to home page. Okay, navigation is not be missing here. Okay, so I can go to home page, or I can go to settings page. Okay, I can go to settings page, and then I can click the back button to go to home page, and when I click back button again, the app will minimize. And if I want to go to settings, I will go to settings page. So either I can click the back button, or I can click the home here again. So now we will do some more changes here. So one of the first thing which I will do is I will change this title. Here it is saying home in the top navigation bar. I will change the title by passing the options parameter. So here we have the stack.screen. I can add the options parameter, and in the options parameter I have the object, and in this object I will put title equal to maybe I can say, instead of home, 1 second. Okay, so here I can say the title, and I have to give some title, some different name. Maybe I can say dashboard. Okay, so once I say dashboard, you will see the title is changed, though it is a home component, but the heading title is saying dashboard. Similarly, if I go to settings page, right now it's saying settings. So instead of settings, I will put something different. Options equal to title. Instead of settings, I will say profile settings. So you will see in the header, we have the profile settings, and this is dashboard. So we are changing the title of the header in the on the my stack navigator. So before I do more changes, just create this page and see if we are able to see the title change, and then we'll see some of the more changes in relation to the stack navigator. I'll give you in the chat. If you want, you can copy paste. If you want, you can type it. I'll give you 2 minutes to finish this. Is it done? Nobody is answering. Okay, it's done. So now we'll do some more changes here. So one way of calling the home component is like this. Another way of calling the component is like this. I'll show you now. Before I show you, let me show you what we get in the home component. We get a navigation as one, props. If I put props here, I want to see what props is there. So let's see what props we are getting it. So if you go to props, we get a navigation, can go back, gate ID, dispatch, gate parent, gate state. Lot of other things are there. One is route also. Set params is there. Remove listener, push is there, go back is there, navigate is there, is focus is there. Lot of things are there. Okay, so we'll try to see what more we are getting it in the props. So instead of putting the components like this, I can remove this component from here and what I will do, I will create the stack.screen and close the stack.screen, and in between I will write an arrow function. In the arrow function, I will get some props, and that props I will return in the home screen. So I can call home component here, and I will do the props here, whatever props we are getting. 1 second. So what I did, instead of putting component equal to home, I put arrow function inside that stack.screen, and in that we get the props, and I can call the home with the same props which we are getting it, and it behaves similarly, and you can see the props is similar to what we get before. The advantage of this is that if you want to pass some more data to the home component which comes from database or from somewhere, you can also pass it here. Like I can say name equal to John. So I can pass name equal to, okay, name is generally going as home. So let's put not name, let's put first name. So let's put first name, because component name is also home, so that will overwrite it. So first name is going as a John also here, and I can display this John in my home component. So with this way we can pass extra parameters here, and those are the custom variables which you want to pass to that component. Because with this way you cannot pass extra variables. You can only call the settings page, but if you want to pass some extra fields which is coming from database, so this is the one way of passing the variables. Last name equal to Doe. So you will see first name is here and last name is also here, because I am putting console.log on the props in the home component, and we are able to get the first name and last name in the home component. So this is another way of doing it. Just try to do this one and see. Yeah, it is nice way, because we can pass extra parameters. Generally we don't do like this unless we have something from database on loading the screen, something. We can directly write that also in that component, but something if you want to pass in the navigation, you can do that. Let me give you in the Telegram. You can experiment this part also. Okay. So let's go to see some more things in relation to this one. Okay, so let's see some more things. I'll remove the props now. I just wanted to show the props kind of thing. Okay, so I remove the props and I'll revert this to same way as we were doing before. Okay. Oh, it's not working. Let me restart it. So when you do some practice, you sometimes have to restart it because things get stuck. Okay, this is reloading it. So now what I will do on the settings page, I'm going to back to home, but I will not go to home page. I will go to settings page again. So instead of navigating to home, I will navigate to settings page on this settings component. So when I go to settings page, I see again I can go settings, but when I click the settings, nothing is happening because we are already on the settings page, and navigate will not create another layer of page on top of it. So let me explain you this how works in the auto draw. So when you have the home component, this is the home component, and you navigate to settings component, the settings component comes on the top of the home component. So home component is there and settings component is on top of the home component. And when you call third page, maybe profile from the settings, it will come on top of the settings page. And when you click the back button, it will remove this part, the profile part, and settings page will appear again. And when you click the back button again, it will remove the settings part and the home page is again here. It appears again. So when you go from home to settings page and you again navigate to settings page, no new layer will be created here because we are already on the settings page and we are trying to navigate to settings page again. So no new layer is created on top of the settings page. That's happening here. So when I go here, let's go to home page. When I go to settings page, I am on the settings page. When I click setting, nothing is happening because no new layer is created on top of the settings because we are already on the settings page. But if you want to create a new layer of settings page again, the copy of settings page again on top of this, then instead of navigate, you can use push. So when I use the push, it will create a new layer of settings page on top of the settings page. So there will be a copy of settings page on top of it. And like this, copy will be created, multiple copies will be created. So now what will happen when I go to settings page? When I click settings page again, you will see a slide. There was another layer came, and like this, new layer is coming again on top of settings page. Lot of settings page is coming on top of the previous settings page. Now when I click the black button now, I'm not going to home page. I'm going to settings, settings, settings. How many times a layer is created? It's going one by one. And we're going back, 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 back. All settings page coming back again. One by one we are removing the settings page. Because a lot of settings page are created. We're removing it. Now ultimately we are at the home page. Again, we are going settings page. If I click back, we are at home. But if I go to settings, when I click settings again, a new layer is created. Now when I click back button, it's going to settings page again and then home page. So if you use the push, another layer of settings page will come on top of the previous one and the new layer will come again and again. So that way you are creating lot of settings page again and again. Okay. So generally people prefer navigate because it doesn't create a new layer on top of it. But in some situation, if you feel requirement is like that, you can use a push. But generally, this is to be avoided. So in addition to this push, I can create another button which will navigate to home page. This will push the new settings page again and again. This will go to directly to the home page. I can also manually, there's a back button here, but we can write programmatically to go back by writing a new button saying navigation dot go back. So this will behave same thing as this back button is doing. So it will go back. So something we have programmatically writing the go back button, which anyhow user can do by clicking the back button on the mobile screen. So go back will manually means writing through JavaScript, it will go to back button. I can also create one more button, and here I can say pop to top. Pop to top. So when I say pop to top, it means it will go to the topmost layer, that is the home one, the first screen which we have, that is the home one. So when I click the navigate, then also it will go to home. But when I click the pop to top, then also it will go to the home because that is the home is the topmost one in the layer. So let's see this one. When I click settings one, you see if I click the first button, a new layer is created on top of the previous layer, and I can go back to previous settings and home page. So let me go to multiple times to the settings page, and when I click the home button, it removes all the layer, it goes to the home button again. So now if I click back button, there is no back, it will close my app. So when I go to settings page, I click multiple settings once. So I have multiple pages of the settings. Now if I go to go back, it will behave similarly what we have this back button. It's going back, 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 and the home page. So this back button is same as this back button of the mobile. If I go multiple settings page, either I can click the home to go to the top one, or I can go to pop to top also. That will also take me to the main home page, like this one. This is the initial one, starting point. It will take us to starting point. And once we are in the starting point, go back will close the app, minimize the app. Okay, so these are the few things you need to experiment. I'll give you this one in the Telegram. You can experiment. I'll give you 2 minutes to experiment something on this one. Okay, so now let's do some more things on this one. So first thing which I will be doing is, passing the variables from one component to another component. Let's say we have some variable created in home component. I want to pass that variable to the settings component. So when I call the settings one, I will be calling with the value of that variable, and that variable I can access it here in the settings page. So let's try to do that one. So as soon as I am calling the settings page, I will put comma, and there I will have an object. And in this object, I can pass key value pairs to pass on the settings page. So for example, I will pass item ID equal to 86, for example, and I will also pass, and maybe I can say first name. Okay, I will pass John. So these are the two variables I have on my home page. I want to pass to the settings page as soon as we call the settings page. And here I want to retrieve these two variables. Okay, so to retrieve these variables, I want to use another parameter which will come here, that is called the route. And route, if you see route, how the route looks. Let me show you the route, how the route looks. So now what I will do, so I will go to home page first. As soon as I click settings page, you will see route will be displayed here. Okay, so route is displayed here, and route has the key, name, params. We have the params in the route. And 1 second, okay, hold on 1 second. Okay, so what we will do, you see that in the route we are getting the params, and inside params we have the first name and item ID which I passed from the home page. From the home page I pass item ID to first name, and which can be captured in the route on the settings page. Now what I will do, so if I want to display, let's say item ID, I can say route dot params dot item ID. I will put question mark in case we don't get the value, we should not get the error. Okay, and second thing which I will pass is the full first name. It will be route dot params dot first name. Okay, now when I go and click the settings one, you will see I'm getting item ID and I'm getting the first name John. So this way I can display it, the variables from the previous page to this page. Now what I will do, when I'm pushing the settings page, I will pass the item ID. I will pass the item ID, some different item ID. Right now it is 86, but let's pass different item ID when I click the settings button from here in the settings component. Okay, so let me pass this another one. Here I will pass item ID equal to, here I will pass the random number, so that every time when I click the settings button, I should pass a different ID to the next page. So to create the random number, I will say math.float math.random into 100. When I say 100, that means it will be from 1 to 100, the value will be 1 to 100. So it will create a random value from 1 to 100. So I'll show you now. From the home page, I'm calling item ID 86. So you are able to see item ID 86. But when I go to the settings page and I click the settings button, I'm passing the item ID with some random value. So you will see random value is 89. We are not passing the first name, so first name is going empty. But item ID is 89, that is the random. Again I click settings, it is 50. Again I'm passing settings, it is 35. So every time I'm calling settings, I'm passing the new item ID, and this item ID is displayed here. But when I go back button, it will persist all the item ID, and you will see all the item ID in the same way it was there before. So let's say it is 88, I go again, it is 4. But when I go to back, it is 88. So all this will be same which it was before. It will keep the persistence of the value. And this is the first page. So to pass the parameter variable from one page to another, we use additional curly object, additional curly bracket, and it is a key value pair, and we pass the different variables to another page. So just try this one, then we'll see a couple of more things before we close today. I'll give you in the chat, Telegram chat. You have 2 minutes to experiment this. Okay, so let's go one more thing now here. So I'm passing the item ID Let's remove the first name. We don't care about first name right now. Let's only talk about a item ID. We can anyhow put a n number of variables. So right now here I'm passing 86 to when I go to settings page. But we can also pass the default value from our stacks navigator. So let's say if I want to go to settings page and I want to pass some default value. So I can say initial params, and here I can say item ID equal to 42. So I'm not passing now from my home page. I'm passing default value from my stack navigator. So when I go to settings page, you will see 42 is displayed because I'm passing here 42. Now I can also update the value of the 42. I can update the value of 42 directly here on the settings page without going to another settings page. So let's say I create another button, but here in this button I will not push anything. I will just update the value of this item ID. So I'll say navigation dot set params. I'm setting the params, and here I'm saying item ID equal to math.floor math.random into 100. So what I'm doing, updating params. So I'm not calling another settings page, but I'm updating the value of item ID directly on this page. So currently we are seeing 42 because from the default value, from the default stack navigator, we are getting 42. But now I want to update it here. See, I'm updating here directly without going to another settings page. I'm changing the value. But when I go back, it goes back to home page. That means we are not going to another settings page. We're only updating here. See, the number is changing. A random value is coming. It goes from 0 to 100 or 0 to 99. Okay, so I put 100 here. That means goes to 0 to 99. Okay, so we're updating the params directly here. So this is the one way of doing it. I'll give you this one. No back. So if I click the back button, it will go to home page. We are in the same settings page. We are not calling new settings page. When I use this one push, I'm calling new settings page with the new value of item ID. But with the first button, I'm just updating the value of item ID without going to another page. Okay, so let me give you this in chat, and you can try sometime later. Okay, so now let's say if you don't want to show this profile settings, okay, you don't want to show the header, you can also say, let's see, what is that header shown equal to false. See, we have header shown. Let me check the document. 1 second. I don't remember. Is it show or show header? Okay, give me 1 second. What we have? Yeah, header shown in the options. We say header shown equal to false. Then when I go to settings page, you don't see the header at the top. So in the options, if you don't want to show the header in the top, then just say header shown equal to false. Here also. And when I go back button, you will see the home page is there, but there is no header in the top. So this is another thing which we can hide or we can show. here. If I pass through, I am able to show it. Okay, one more thing which we will do now, the last thing which I will do today. There are a lot of small things if you go to documentation, but those are not very important for our purpose. So here I can also say header style. I can give the header style, and I can give some styling to the header like background color. I can give some color F4511E. So you will see the header color is the red color which I provided here. When I go to settings page, it is same as previous one. But when I go to home page, I see the header as this one. And I can say header tint color, and I will pass FFF. So you will see the color header. One second, header. Oh, sorry. Header tint color is separate one. So you see the white color is there because I pass header tint color as a FFF, and I can also pass header title style. There I can say I can give some more features like font weight equal to bold. Okay, so we can style this thing. And let's say if you want to style to all the header, like on the settings also you want the same one. So instead of putting in the options, okay, instead of putting in the options, we can also write in the stack navigator. We can write screen options, and screen options we can pass all the things here in the screen options. So instead of putting it header style here, I will put it here. So that way it will be applied to all the components. So if I go to settings page also, we have the same kind of header. Okay, so we go to settings page. So either you put in the screen options, it will be applied to all, or you can put options for the particular screen if you want to display on particular screen. There are few more things related to this header part, which I will not take now, but if in any project we feel the requirement, I will show you that one. Or or if you want to explore yourself, you can go to this all the documents, and you will see whatever I showed you today are all here. So there are few more things maybe you can walk through yourself. Those are not very important for practical purpose, but if something is needed, we can go through in future, and we can use that one in future. Okay, there are thousands of more options are available here. If you go to each one, you will see something new is there. Okay, so for the practical purpose, those are not very important, but for understanding or learning purpose, you can go through it. Any questions?